Well, welcome back to Yamba Bowling Club for the Yamba Classic Pairs. We're underway with round 6. And we've got the Yamba Tura Beach combination, Jayson, Pinnock and Steve Greig. They're taking on Danny Knight and Tony White from 𝐷. Well, Jayson and Steve, they've had 4 wins and a draw. They're on the edge of the prize money, just out. But we've got 4 wins. We have 3 wins and a draw for Jayson and Danny. And 4 wins for our Queensland pair. Which means they're right in the mix. 4 wins gets you on the edge of it. 3 wins and a draw puts you on the edge as well. 4 wins is down to 12th. We have one team that's undefeated with a perfect record of 5 wins, and that's actually we have 2. And then we have another one with 4 wins and a draw, and 4 wins rounds us down to 12th. Tony on the mat now. Seen this green pick up a little bit of speed today. So this pair actually have 5 wins. They're running second, Danny Knight and Tony White, with 5 wins plus 52. They're 7 shots behind our table toppers, Peter Taylor, Carl Healy, 5 wins plus 59. Steve Greig, great bowl there. Still 1 to the Queenslanders. So Danny Knight, Tony White, they've had their wins. Round 1, win over Alan Smith and Reed Burgess, 12-10. Then they defeated Bill Andrews, Gary Douglas, 15-9. Had a big win over Kevin Judge and Ian Shaw, 26-5. 21-10 over Greg Symes, Ron Smith. And then last round, Don Lowe, Peter Grogan, 25-13. Jayson and Steve, well, they opened with a draw with 13-13 all, Joel Downey and Peter Brown. Then had a win, Steve Crawford and Mark Starr, 24-4. Then went down 24-7 to Steve Jackson and Graham Meaney. Then had a win over Phil Madison and John Luchetti, 14-10, and last round 19-7 over Dave Atkinson and Rob Millen. So this one will decide, could very well decide who gets money for both teams. 4 wins and a draw, could get Jayson Pinnock there. And he's just terrified who's going to come in and commentate and take the mickey out of him. He already knows he's going to cop it because he was originally lined up to do the commentary here, but has stepped into play in this tournament, following a player withdrawal. Jayson will play backhand, trying to draw a shot. Well, he's on the right bias to start with. Only just though, a bit tight. Still 1 down for the local Tura combination. Fair distance apart for those wondering where Tura Beach is. It is on the far south coast of New South Wales, down towards Tathra, Merimbula, that sort of region. Probably closer to Merimbula. And Jayson, he's got to take a little bit more grass with this one. A little bit of attacking look on this, but still, at least he gets to be described as skinny with his bowls. Got his own one and rolled in for a third, so not a bad result. And don't forget, we'll be back here at Yamba in just under 2 weeks now. So that's the weekend in 2 weeks' time, Saturday, Sunday. State over 40s pairs final. 32 teams right round the state will be here playing for a state championship title. Looking forward to that. Tony White. This looks like it's going to run out of puff here. It was a decent line, just a little under. May have blocked the path in for Steve Greig. Might be going to go straight at it. Pretty close. Oh, just under the line. Tony White just got nearly got a favourable little rub. So Jayson's having a look, getting up to the toes to see better. Well, the advice is it's possibly 2. Measure for the second though. May decide just to have a crack anyway and back whether or not they'll win the measure. This looks under the line. So it's definitely 1. It's 2. So 3/4 length to start off this direction. We have seen earlier, this way slightly into the wind. Maybe a little bit of protection for the clubhouse, but tendency has been for players to fall a little bit short in this direction of the wind. It is virtually straight down this rink, the flagpole straight behind the rink number and the flags. Well, they're slightly left to right as we look at it from the end camera. And it's a great start from Danny Knight. Jayson just a little bit shy on that one. To have a slight correction to the previous game, he was not a draw. Apparently was a 2 on the second last end in favour of the Yamba 𝐋𝐈𝐕𝐄 combination. They dropped a 1 on the last end, so it was actually a one-shot win. It did drop the 𝐿𝐶 team from 4, kept them on 4 wins. So they would be in the top 12 at the moment still. And fighting for results. They get a good win on this game. They could well jump up into the prize money. Jayson, second bowl. Good catching position in behind. Tony, he'll just be looking to backhand draw round Jayson down to the centre line in behind the jack. He's a little bit further back than he probably would have liked to have been. Well, Steve Greig's won a few things down in the southeast region, and that's why. That's a fantastic bowl. Tony White, a little bit tighter with this one. Just pulled the weight off though. Would have been effective with another yard or so. Greig changes his hand, backhand draw now. Yeah, this Tura team currently in second place. Tony White. They're 7 shots behind our leader, and one of only 2 teams with an undefeated record. They are 5 wins plus 52, and our leaders are Peter Taylor and Carl Healy, 5 wins plus 59. 4 wins and a draw from Indy Conlon is the third place. And after that, there's a collection of 9 teams with 4 wins. So our 𝐿𝐶 team on our show rink this afternoon, they could actually afford a loss and still possibly finish in the prize money. Should Indy and his partner win, they would drop to third or worse. Jayson and Steve had 3 wins and a draw. I'm thinking 4 wins and a draw might not be enough. But you never know. You're like in the big city. Some of our team might go chasing margins and end up dropping their game. Currently 2 to Steve Greig by the looks of his head. Well, Jayson's trailed the jack. Not sure that was entirely intentional, but it's not too bad a result. His first 2 heavy bowls are now coming to the count. He's not going to look over this way because he knows he'll get stirred. He's wearing a Hazelbrook Jack Frost tournament shirt at the moment. Tony White got a bit more room to draw this, courtesy of that trail from Jace. He's running in nicely here. this definitely has picked up speed since this morning. That breeze has dried the green out. That's second shot, according to Danny Knight. Greig can draw down to that bowl, just lay it over to be running 3. Little touch should do the same job. Touch it sideways. Looks a fairly tight sort of line. Doesn't want to slice it. He's kicked it right across. The one down now. They've given it away. Oh, I don't think he's got in with that one. Jace just had a close look, told Steve they're one down. Trying to get inside. Jayson just marked Jack high. See his toe on the right-hand side of the screen there. Beats that. He'll count. A little bit quick, I think. So it is one more to Tony White. 2 ends down, 3-0. You see the for sale and for lease signs in the background. Don't worry, that's not the club up for sale. This event is sponsored by Elders Real Estate, Yamba and McLean. Got a partnership with another real estate agent throughout the year. This one, specific sponsor for this event. Danny Knight, not a bad starter. The line's okay. Oh, Jason's still watching it. Come in behind. Pretty decent start. Good for rangefinder. It's already got a couple in the same postcode, so pretty good. Danny just wants to add 50 centimetres or so of weight. Corrected his line, put a little bit more on it. That's pretty good. It's 2 shots. Jayson just a fraction more grass. 3/4 of a metre. See him there with his arm up. Can't change him once you've let him go though. He'll be under the line. The weight's pretty good. Tony, he's opted to play the backhand. He's got 2 of his own teammates there, just a bit short that he can turn up. Just going to go underneath. There's a bit of traffic there on both hands now. Can get a winner off the inside of that last bowl. Just going to go around it, finish at the back. He's quite a way through. We got a few little comments there about Triple M. Did promise we wouldn't raise it, but Kyle has. So Triple M. Jayson earlier on got the nickname of the male model from McLean. Yes, I know it's McLean, but he been trying to shake that one off, but it keeps following him around. Kyle, I'm not going to say he's not bowling well, but I think Jason's at it himself. Nevertheless, they've got 3 wins and a draw from their 5 games so far. They are sitting at around about 12th place, 13th. Don't know if they can break into the top 8. Depends on a few results. A few of those teams get beaten that are on 4 wins, though. Could go to 4 wins and a draw. Because they need to score some shots. They've lost the opening 2 ends. They are playing an undefeated team, one of only 2 with 5 wins. Danny and Tony, 5 wins plus 52. They trail by margin. Peter Taylor, Carl Healy, 5 wins plus 59. Just looking to pick the gap between the 2 bowls there. Just going to go underneath. Needed to get past that one. That was his opponents that he's just turned up. All of his own bowls there can crash into and turn up. Just doesn't want that one that he's going to run into. So once again, looking for the little portal. Wants to get through down to the jack. Looks on a better line this time. Well, he gets more than one clap from his skipper. Let's watch that one again. Wanted the port. Came down. Got the hole. Touched the jack. Made a couple. So, probably 2 down. Tony White. Well, it could even be 3. Don't know about the back one. Tony, he's just going to be a little short. He's going to just snag on Jason's short bowl. There's a chance here for Steve Greig. He can draw a little toucher. Just shore up their position, hide that jack. Might also bring another 1 or 2 in. And just trail it back towards the back. They'll be holding 4 or 5, maybe 6. What a turnaround. Greggy's just going to... needs to come in a bit. Oh, Jason's willing it to fall over, so Tony White, a little bit of pressure. I have a few dollars riding on this game. His teammates interested. Danny likes this one coming in, but he's just going to be... oh, well, Jayson reckons it's 3. Well, there is an opportunity to try and trail this jack. The danger is, though, just on the line that you'd need is that last bowl. You do not want to turn it in to the head and cut yourself out of any. Now, Greggy, he wants to get through the port. Just going to crash. 2 for sure. 3 shots. So we're all square. Brought the mat up. Got it away on his backhand. But into the wind, we've seen him fall short. He's fallen into that trap as well. So can Danny overcome that? Drop one on it, put the pressure back. Yeah, good bowl from Danny. Well, if Jayson knows Kyle's watching, he might be under pressure to perform, so wants to impress his former workmate. So we did have Jayson as a guest commentator out at Dubbo for our state championships for quite a few games. Did a great job. Does a fantastic job as one of the CSMs, Club Support Manager in New South Wales for Bowls Australia. And we're giving him a friendly ribbing. We do like him. Shouldn't have said that online because he'll go and watch it now and he'll feel loved. Steve Greig, he'll play the opposite side of the green than Jayson did. Just an open draw. There's nothing in either path. It's just got the outside of Danny's bowl and run through. Tony White's going to follow him down on that same side of the green. Probably just a preference of which side to play. This looks pretty well pointed. He might have a bit too much speed as well. So far, it's only Jayson's the poor old fella who's fallen short. We will have a guest commentator coming in soon. It's head greenkeeper for here at Yamba. A good bowl from Tony. That's 2. Oh, that's Greggy, sorry. That's second shot. Tony, that's the one he's got to beat. It's a good line again. He corrected his weight very nicely as well. So we've got the boss of the Greenkeepers here at Yamba joining us in commentary. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Andrew. Nice to be here.
Don did tell me your name, but I just forgot.
Graham. Graham Brown.
Graham is the wizard who prepares these wonderful surfaces.
Only for the winners, Andrew. Only for the winners.
And Don did tell me to plug that you're the 2019 New South Wales Bowling Greenkeeper Association Greenkeeper of the Year.
Yeah, that's correct. A while ago now.
Got to share the love a little bit though, don't you?
Yeah, got to share it around. We're a tight-knit community, us greenkeepers.
Jayson, well, he's a little bit through on this one, so there's still probably a couple down. Danny looked to be drawing for 3 on his forehand. Did you join the front of the queue to put some friendly banter on Mr. Pinnock?
I can. It's a nice bowl.
What have I done? There we go.
I first met Jayson a couple of years back at the Classic Pairs, and then he was only at the club for a short while, and then he went over to McLean as the head bowl secretary over there.
And saw the light.
Yeah.
Well, he's crashed into his own short bowl. He did play a clanger last end and trail the jack for a few. I don't know if it was deliberate. Danny looks to be pretty well down. His mate's watching it intently. Well, I think that one will count and be holding 4. So our 𝐋𝐈𝐕𝐄 team, Danny Knight and Tony White. Knight White. That's not a bad name, the White Knights.
Sure is.
So they're on 5 wins plus 52, currently second of the tournament. And just 7 shots better is Pete Taylor and Carl Healy. 5 wins plus 59, and they're our only 2 5-game winners left in the field out of the 52 teams. Third, by themselves, 4 wins and a draw, Indy Conlon. I've just forgotten who Indy's playing with. And then we've got 9 teams on 4 wins. Well, Greggy's pinched that jack through. He's reduced the count, but I'd still favourite is maybe just the 1, and that's what Danny feels as well. Let's switch the backhand here for Tony. He's got a chance. A little touch on that jack, he can make 3. Possibly 4 with his own. No, only 3 if he touches it. Looks to be a little bit on the runny side to me. Oh, a little dangerous. What's that? Brave call, say Jack in the pit. Bear Jack, just about. I think it's probably just a draw shot. Problem is that one short out there is sort of in the way. Oh dear, he's hit the silly short bowl and run out. I think the sensible thing here is just to backhand draw now. Steve's moved that bowl out of the way. Little toucher could make 3, but you just want to try and dead draw this. Two.
Good bowl.
5-4. So we got a reminder come up from the Pearl himself. Said, don't forget to remind everybody about the New South Wales boys smashing the Queenslanders in the Tiftorf Shield.
We did this year. My rink went down on the last end, unfortunately. We were leading all the game. And dropped a few on the last end.
So I'm guessing that's a clash between greenkeepers?
Yeah, it's Brisbane Gold Coast greenkeepers against the northern New South Wales greenkeepers. So the David Hall from Park Beach, probably he's the most southern greenkeeper that came up this year.
A bit of very friendly rivalry.
Oh, it's always a good day just to catch up and see how each other are going and discuss, problems this year. We've had plenty of rain this year, especially the first half of the year. So it was played at Lennox Head, which was running lightning fast.
So not only a chance to get out on the green, but a chance to share a bit of knowledge and what worked, what didn't work.
Yep, what we can improve on.
And the Greenkeepers also won the clash with the New South Wales Legends.
Yeah, a bit too far for me to travel down there, but
so it's a social game. It's a catch-up chance for the Greenkeepers to get together again, and while they're there, they play against some former state players.
Yeah, I went down and played when I was Greenkeeper of the Year. It was the same day held that it was announced that I was the winner down at Cabramatta Bowling Club. It was a great day. No strangers, always friends you haven't met in bowls. Everyone's always friendly and always up for a chat, everyone.
What's the one game where you can really take the man on and still be friends and enjoy a social aspect of the game as well?
And have a beer while you do it.
You can't have a beer while you play football.
That's right.
Well, you can, but the stubbies, you might spill some. Although I have seen the social cricketers with the stubby behind the stumps.
Or out on the rope, yep.
The batter with the stubby behind the stumps, and we protested because we reckoned we'd never get him out bowled with the stubby behind the stumps. He wouldn't risk it getting spilled. Steve Greig, he's going to play his forehand. It's a nice little path in there, a couple of bowls to rest on. Plus he's got the trail towards Jayson on that hand if he's a bit narrow, but that looks like it's just going to hold a little longer than he expected. Just a bit quick. It's come back very nicely.
Nice home, better than a short one.
Green, I reckon it's picked up a little bit of speed today with a little bit of sun coming out and the breeze coming along. Let's try the one that looks down the...
Yeah, we had 2 mil this morning in the rain gauge.
Just enough to take the little bit of speed we picked up yesterday off.
Yeah. Was no dew this morning, which was good. It was quite breezy this morning, but there was a very heavy dew yesterday morning. So
On top of it, it was close to 100 mils of rain a few days before the event, though, wasn't it?
yeah, it took us Thursday. It took us 4 hours to cut one of the greens. It was just on and off all morning. So nothing worse coming into a day like this, trying to get everything done, and you get a day of inclement weather and you just can't get on top of it. Nothing more frustrating, but you can't help the weather. You've got to try and work with it, not against it.
Well, we've been a bit lucky, I think. Yesterday started off glorious. Clouds come over. We did get about 6 spits before we finished, and then a couple of mils overnight.
I actually went home during the last game yesterday. I only live 3 kilometres away, and it was quite wet at home. It was raining, but it was dry here. So that's how fickle the weather can be in Yamba.
We had a couple of mils overnight, and then it did. The forecast did say rain up until about 8 a.m, but it wasn't raining after 6. I know that much. And since then, it's just been rather pleasant. A little bit overcast a bit, but sun's out now. Just so we can watch Jayson play.
That's right.
Mind you, the fans of Darra will be saying we're watching our team march towards victory. And they're up 5-3 at the moment, so got the better of this head. Jayson won't take his grass, will he? I'll give him credit there. He actually was trying to play a little narrow play onto the shot bowl. Sit it and trail the jack back to his own.
He should know better, being his home green.
You've actually got to play bowls to know the green, though, don't you?
Oh, that's true.
If you work in bowls, you don't get to play. We know that.
It's nice to play on them instead of working on them, but yeah.
This looks to be an excellent bowl. He wants Jason's right in the middle.
Cracker.
Oh, he's just underneath it. But it's a very good position. I think Greig's saying, look, get stuck into that. Don't muck around. Has he got a drive?
We'll see. Pressure's on. He's certainly a sportsman and not an athlete, that's for sure, Jayson. Bit wide there.
Yeah, I just had the arms out, signalling wide. He's doing the teapot, hands on hips, scratching the nose, shaking the head.
Trying to work out what went wrong.
You missed. That's what's went wrong, Jayson. Good speed. Just pushed it a little bit wide. No, look, it is one of the traps when you work in bowls and you're at clubs all the time. That you see a lot of bowls, but you don't play. And you get out on the green and you're rusty. You can't do what you know you can do, but you just can't achieve it at that time.
The brain's telling you can do it, but by the time it leaves your hand,
yeah, the
message gets scrambled.
The neurons aren't firing in the right order. The chance here for Tony White, he's just got to play slightly over the draw. If he gets it to swing, he touches the jack and it brings 4 of them in. And if he just touches Jayson over one roll like that, that's 5. That is a cracking bowl. That's probably why they're sitting up right at the top of the table. Steve Greig, he's no mug. He'll have a whack at this, though, because he can draw within a foot and still be 5 down.
Big target.
But he can give this a whack and get rid of 2 or 3 or 4 or cut it back to 1 or even get shot.
1.
Jayson says they're 1. The angles on the camera are a bit deceptive. The camera's a couple of metres. Well, it's probably about 3 metres behind the head. The bank, this end.
Yeah,
2.5.
Probably. Oh no, 3.5 metres, I think.
And we're right on the flagpole at the other end. And it's just below my head height, so it's about 1.7, 1.6, 1.7 metres high. So you do get that little bit of an angle that is deceptive. Peter Thorne can't resist a comment either. You know Peter, I think he's a greenkeeper.
Peter
Thornton. Thordo.
What club?
I think he's in the Hunter Valley somewhere at the moment. He set often in the bush when it's minus and they're playing Aussie rules. The green ginger wine comes out at half time. That's a bit of a punishment to start with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tony, he's given this one away.
Not there.
What he was looking to do there was just to get down into the pack. Chance to turn his own up one roll. Not a fan of the finger measures.
Certainly starting to run a bit better than this morning.
Just a little bit doughy this morning, but the colour's changed as the day's gone on too. It's got that. It's gone from the deep green to the slightly straw coloured.
Especially with daylight saving too. You lose that hour in the morning, so start at 8 o'clock this morning. You're sort of really starting at 7, so it takes a bit longer to dry out.
There's a couple of clubs have asked us to make sure they didn't start before 9:30 for some of their events they've hosted on our behalf, just to give the greenkeepers a bit more time on the greens. And
also neighbours too with the noise and stuff. Some clubs are got trouble with neighbours with noise and stuff. We're pretty lucky here with our neighbours.
Do know some clubs, especially on a Sunday, where it's an 8 a.m. curfew, isn't it, on a Sunday?
Yeah, yep. Makes it a bit hard for some clubs.
Some clubs, if they start at 7:58, the neighbours are out videoing and reporting them. Does make it a little challenging.
The age of the phone where everything gets recorded.
Yes.
Down in Sydney, I had a club, it was Padstow, and they had a lot of problems with neighbours. And I felt sorry for the greenkeeper there, Josh Donkin. They used to complain it was slow a lot, but he couldn't get his machines on the green early, so...
On a synthetic since then, haven't they?
Yeah, yep, 2 synthetics and sold off the back green. That was a while ago now.
You still do need to do some work on synthetics, but probably a bit easier to get them going of a morning than... It is quite odd. Dubbo City, when we were there, you see the staff out running what looked like a mower over the green. It's actually a fancy brush.
Yeah, yep.
Brushes any debris off. And they do actually run the roller over it fairly regularly.
Grafton City actually Grafton City probably bought a roller I think 2 years ago now. Could be even 3, time gets away. But yeah, they've got a synthetic, Grafton District Services, and yeah, they've got a roller, petrol roller, so...
This helps to even out the sand base, apparently.
Plays completely opposite, too, with the weather.
Gets hot, it slows down. Gets cold, it speeds up. Rains, it speeds up. There is a physics reason behind that.
I know it's definitely hotter to play on, that's for sure. On a hot summer's day, I'd rather be playing on grass. But any bad weather...
I sort of think if you've got a synthetic green, you're better off to have a cover on it if you can.
Yeah, I'm with that 100%.
That's a great bowl from Tony White. But good grass green, he'll always be the best surface to play on. Keeps the greenkeeper in the job too.
Yeah, synthetic grass is good when it's in the ditch. My ditches are all covered in synthetic. I used to have a lot of trouble with the bowler stepping into the sand and then stepping onto the green, which the mowers weren't too happy about, with the sand going through the cylinders. So I ended up putting synthetic grass in the ditches, which helped a lot with maintenance.
So the sand gets into the gears in the cylinder and also dulls the blades.
Yeah, yeah. Every morning after they played, I was always out with the millet broom, brushing all the sand back into the ditch, and then came up with the idea of the synthetic grass in the ditch. No different to a synthetic green with synthetic grass in the ditch. So a couple of the members weren't too happy at first, but then after a while they could see the benefits of it.
And you need to use a coarse sand in the ditch too that is nice and heavy, because if you've got the fine white beach sand and you get a bit of wind, it blows it out.
Sure does, especially up here.
It's not a bad effort from Jayson. Do you remember up North Coast when I was up there, we had some fine white beach sand in the ditches and you'd actually see it blowing out all over the green.
Yep.
The greenkeeper pulling his hair out.
The number 3 green here after renovations. I pray that the wind doesn't get up, because it blows the top dressing soil up one end of the green too, so can be a bit of a problem.
Well, he was very close to a result with his previous bowl. Well, he's done pretty well there. That's certainly improved that head.
Can't be unhappy with that. Good try. Yeah, coming in next morning after a night of strong wind, having to get the level on back out and push the soil back over the green again from one end. It's not fun, but a bowling green's got to be true, so...
Yes, all people complain. Well, they complain anyway, but... Well, Paul tells us Pottsville's about to change one of the greens to synthetic 10 rinks. He says mainly because they can't find help for their poor old greenkeeper.
Pearl's never been a big worker, let me tell you. Don't tell him I said that.
Well, you just found it out. I have never seen a happier man than Paul Earl at Maitland City when the Zone 1 were the inter-zone champions. He's probably still celebrating. Jason's looking this way. I think he's just gone online and ordered a couple of shovels, because he reckons we're heaping that much dirt on him. He will need that to shovel it out of his way. Well, that was a friendly little kiss that Greggy got. They're still down though. He's just made it that bit harder for Tony White. Now got to play the forehand. Can edge his own bowls up, but that looks to be a bit tight, a bit short, a bit hesitant.
Played a TIF 12 Shield up at Paul Earl's club the other year, up at Pottsville. Nice part of the world as well. Nearly as good as Yamba. Nearly as good Paul. But not quite. Nice club too.
One of the clubs I haven't been to. Greig, he's given it a shake, but he's just pushed it a little wide. I wouldn't be surprised Tony White just says, I'll take that one and we'll run. Yep, he's saying, we'll take that. So it is one. 6 ends, 6-4. No point playing the bowl if you've gone a hiding to nothing. Well, it's a longer length. Danny Knight, first bowl of this 7th end. So we're almost halfway through the final round. That's a pretty fair starter.
Nice bowl.
A little fan club sitting in this U-Butte barbecue area, right behind Rink 8 here. Might try and shift one of the cameras to have a look at that barbecue area.
We've just got the new lights, so it'll be a good asset, this barbecue area with the night bowls.
I've just realised I can't move the camera to watch it. Oh, I can move that right round.
As long as the midges and the mosquitoes don't come out, it'll be a great night.
Another good bowl from Danny.
Lovely shot.
So the barbecue area we're talking about, you can just see in under there, that's the fans cheering on. There's a barbecue up against the clubhouse. A nice little counter surrounding it, some tables inside. Bacon and egg rolls served from there for morning for breakfast. Cup of tea. A good area for a nice social evening as well, I'd imagine. Right?
Yeah, we have our staff Christmas party usually out here. And every year we're supposed to play barefoot bowls, but we never get out there. We're too busy chatting about the past 12 months and having a feed and a drink, all the staff. It's always a great night. The CEO and the board of directors close the club for that night, and all the staff can actually get together and enjoy the night. Usually put a band on for us. And have a nice night before the busy holiday season starts, which can become pretty hectic.
Bowls New South Wales staff actually did barefoot bowling for our Christmas do last year. We have a couple of non-bowlers on our staff, of course.
Yep.
We went up to North Sydney, and boy, did they have a setup for barefoot there. They churn them through. Have a big package that you can do for a lunch and a 90-minute barefoot session. It was really interesting having someone who is obviously a non-bowler, just paid to basically explain stuff to barefooters, talking to our staff. We had a couple of non-bowlers amongst us, but we have a World Bowls accredited umpire, a current state, well, at that stage, a state player, and another bloke who plays mid-range pennants, listening to it and going, yeah, right, okay.
Could say the coach coaching the coaches, the non-coaches.
Yes.
One of my friends had a birthday many years ago, and we had a barefoot days at 𝐋𝐈𝐕𝐄 Bowling Club, and yeah, that was a nice afternoon.
Spectacular outlook there, isn't it? Right near the beach.
That's 𝐋𝐈𝐕𝐄, isn't it? On the
Yeah, close
yeah.
up on the hill.
Yeah, that's a magnificent view.
Well, Jayson's got a close one here, but I think there's still one down. Interesting balance on this head. Pearl's asking about inter-region, the former interzone. Expressions of interest have just gone out to host that. It's been a little bit of a change because we now incorporate 3 different categories in that. We have a men's, senior men's, and there'll be a combined women's. They're all about making sure you have a minimum number of senior women in your side for that one. It's about balancing out your participants. Do know there's a few clubs interested in that, so if you're one of those clubs, jump on. The information's all there on our website. Jayson's close with this.
Oh,
Made a 2 or 3. That one's got to make the highlight reel.
must have slipped out.
Hey, close both eyes.
You'd be happy with that bowl.
What do we do? What do we do?
Bit of a team meeting.
Well, I think there's panic buttons yet. He's got his own bowl on the way in. Can play just a reaching shot up on the backhand. Turn your own onto Jayson's bowl, or just slip under and sit the other little trail of the jack. Or you can go bang. If it turns quickly enough, but I think he's just got a little too much speed for that grass. Was it good weight, just a little bit wide. And what do you do for an encore, Jayson? That's the question. I think they're going to run for position here. I mean, you've probably got one of the biggest areas of greens and surrounds to keep of most greenkeepers. 4 greens, 4 rinks maximum on the small green.
I can fit 5, but we're tossing up if to put 5 on for the weekend, but it's just a bit too tight because the minimum, I think it's 600, isn't it, from the ditch?
Yeah.
So I think we miss out by about 10 centimetres, unfortunately, or else we would have stuck 5 on. We did do it one year, but yeah, just...
You get any pace in the green, you're perilously close to
Yeah, that's right.
drawing on that hand.
And if the jack goes to the ditch side, you can't play that side either. So we decided a couple of weeks back to keep it to 4 rinks on the smaller green. So that's about 1,000 metres squared, that green. So it's about 2/3 of a green. And then, yeah, got to look after the putt out the back there. 18 holes of putt. Plenty of hedging out there.
I must admit, this is my second trip and I haven't looked at the putt-putt. Seen the 4-lane bowling, 10-pin bowling alley and the rock climbing wall.
Yeah, the 10-pin, we have a social comp here, and my son and I play in that every Tuesday, which is a really good comp. It's very social. Everyone's friendly towards one another and encourage the other side and high fives when someone scores a strike. Our new incoming CEO, he plays as well, and his wife, sometimes his son. It's a great night. Comes into its own, especially with the inclement weather up here. It just books you out straight away too. So, you know, you've only got the 10-pin or the movies during the holiday if it's bad weather. Oh, what's going to happen here? Oh.
Well, got rid of one of his own, but I think he's got Jayson's out as well. So it could be 2 to Tony White at this stage. Greig's got 1 bowl left to play.
Might try and rest on Tony's, maybe. Or
Yeah, look, can trail this Jack back to his own. There is a bowl in the way on the draw there as well, so that somebody once said to me, a bowl's never in the way, you just need to make sure you draw around it or under it. Can't afford just to reach, come off Jayson's or sit the shot bowl.
oh, this looks good. No.
But the danger is there's enough holes for you to slide through. Got rid of 1, but 2 down. So we're halfway through, and it's 8-4.
Yeah, with the new lights, probably this coming summer there'll be plenty more barefoot bowls held a bit later too, whereas the other years was probably held a bit early, I think, with the weather. A bit too hot at 4 o'clock here. So with these new lights, I'll probably play a little later. So introduce more people to the game of bowls, which is good while they're on holidays.
Chance to put on something like a barbecue and barefoot evening from, say, 6:30 to 8:30. Still mostly light there, but at least you can finish off under lights.
Have the caravan parks playing off each other. Someone from the Calypso caravan park playing off the people from the Blue Dolphin, something like that. Make a interesting
Friendly rivalry.
yeah, have a little cup every year, something like that.
Well, Jayson, where'd that come from?
Going to be hard to improve off of that first one, that's for sure.
Well, he's under pressure. You know, he has to perform on the telly and knows that the commentators will be relentless on him.
It will never be forgotten. We'll make sure of it. I just went down to Warwick Farm for the New South Wales Bowling Greenkeepers Association conference and bumped into Jayson down there at the Inglis motel, which was a surprise. You had a they had a conference down there as well.
Yeah, the BA staff conference, and BowlsNSW staff joined them for a day.
Good to get together and throw around a few ideas and stuff. Always good for the game, something like that.
Yeah, good to know
Good ideas.
Good to know who you're dealing with, and that we're all working for the same goal in the long run.
Put faces to the emails that you send to each other and all that sort of stuff.
Because there's a few more Bowls Australia staff than there are New South Wales. I think we vary a little bit, but we're around about that 9 mark. When I say we vary, we've had a couple of attempts in on a fixed term contract for just a few months to help out with certain projects. Or
Yep.
We've got one working solely for the member conference. We did have last year as well, just in the 6 weeks lead up. Got a couple of roles that are being filled at the moment. Well, I mentioned Club Maitland City as the host of the last in the zone, or the one before the last. One before last.
Time gets away, doesn't
Trevor Solomons pops up, a member of that club.
Only another couple of more weeks and we got the over 40s here.
Well, looking forward to that. Well, 2 weeks' time, we'll be, exactly 2 weeks, we'll probably be about a couple of ends into the final.
Hopefully we can put better weather on. Blue skies.
Well, actually, the weather now, perfect. It's not raining, it's not hot.
Bit of a sort of southeasterly blowing.
A little breezy to make it tricky, but a pretty good field for that event as well. And anybody competing in the over 40s that's not already booked in, do try the Twin Pines or the Aston Motel. They're the ones closest to the club. The Twin Pines is actually straight across the road, but I've got a feeling you might be too late. I think they might be booked out that weekend. Can recommend the steak in the Norfolk dining room. Did enjoy that one the other night.
Yeah, Mark the chef does a great job at the Norfolk. Always has different specials every night. My daughter had her 13th birthday on Friday night. We came down for a meal there to the Norfolk. Mark's always changing up the specials, so you never know what you're coming in for, which is really good.
Well, I was tempted to try the veal scallopini on the specials list, maybe tonight.
Yeah, there's a few bleary eyes peeping out of the Twin Pines this morning. A few of the boys must have had a late night.
I had a bit of a late night, but it wasn't any celebrations or anything. It was finished up here and then went in and double-checked on the rookies pairs results and compiled the list of our 32 qualifiers. Did the work to get all that ready for publication of the draw. We just got to press a couple of buttons and that'll be live. Just got to go through comms to get that official announcement made.
I think our incoming CEO played in that yesterday at Lismore Heights, or Lismore, one of the
Lismore.
East Lismore, yeah. Greig Target, only new to the club and new to the sport, and
unfortunately did not get through to state finals. That honour for the Northern Rivers went to a McLean pair. So the dirty rotten rivals down the road.
we're
The friendly
rivals on paper, But, oh, nice shot.
What a bowl.
Great shot. From, after Pinnock or that, always have a friendly beer with the boys from McLean. Great bunch of blokes.
Oh, it's the local rivalry. You always want to beat the one that's closest to you. The neighbouring towns sort of thing, and you're the twin Clarence towns sort of.
The bragging rights.
I did joke with Don that it's a bit like dueling banjos. He said, oh, it's not quite that bad.
I did just send back one of the master scoreboards last week to Paul Manback, the greenkeeper there, from the pennant finals that we held the other week.
Usually find that the ones that they're not quite bitter rivals, but they don't like losing to each other, but they're the ones who help each other out when it's needed.
For sure. Whether we're short of a keg or something like that, especially the last pennant finals we just had, we had to drive around the district to get a few spare kegs off the local golf club and bowling club and tavern and stuff, because the boys were very thirsty. That's for sure.
Phil did say the 3.5 was the popular one. That was the one they were looking for. Do you remember one pennant final in another area? It was actually grade 1, and it was not long after the Great Northern had first come out. And the CEO of the club there did say he ordered in an extra 10 or so kegs of it, but it proved to be not enough. He had to borrow about another 10 kegs from around the place.
They might only have been half full.
They were thirsty lads that weekend, a few spectators as well.
A couple of years back, we had Molong play Malua Bay in the final, and Molong had to get 6 shots on the last end, and you wouldn't believe it, they got it. It was the biggest roar I've ever heard.
I do know in the grade 2, they played down at Wagga a few years ago. Skipper, who's a very good bowler, dropped a 5 on the very last end, put it to a tie.
Yeah.
The other 2 rinks then dropped a 3 and a 2 on the extra end, and he picked up a 6 to win it for him.
Oh, wow.
So we went from villain to hero. Steve, well, is he going to get in off Jayson's bowl? No. Might have got second. Well, I'll give Jayson and Greig credit. They're actually playing pretty well. It's just their opponents taking the honours away from them. Much to the delight of their spectators behind the green. Do love to see it though. Some spectators cheering them on, enjoying themselves.
It's in the ditch.
Well, Trevor from Maitland City says he's lucky enough to be heading off to Ballina next year. Or should I say Lennox Head. He's in the reserve fours. Jack disappears. Did they both just roll that Jack into the ditch?
Yep.
Well, you got to get a drink to stop the cough and all the action happens. So a fantastic reception for the state champs last year heading out to Dubbo. And a lot of excitement up in the Northern Rivers area for Ballina, Alstonville and Lennox Head hosting this season's event. And not much of a run from here to Ballina, actually. Now about an hour and a quarter.
Yeah, hour and 15 up to Ballina. That's an easy drive now. Certainly a lot more holiday makers did come down from the Gold Coast, Brisbane, because it's so much easier to get here now.
Well,
down to Ballina as well.
Well, I grew up in the 80s in a little place called Bangalow. It's a bit of a different town nowadays, but certainly would not have got anywhere near Yamba in an hour and a quarter from Bangalow. Only 15 minutes or so up the road from Ballina. Used to take us an hour to get to Wardell. When we first started driving, my wife and I, from our house on the other side of Wollongong up to Bangalow, it was about a 13 to 14 hour drive, down to about 9 now, with all the towns cut off on the highway.
They say it's a quick trip but a boring trip now.
Yeah, it's the same, all the roads now, unfortunately.
Yep.
Tony, he's holding one. Needs a bit more running to make it a second. Good line. We're all struggling with the weight going this way. Does it? Just a bit longer. Are they overcompensating for the wind, I wonder?
I think they after putting two jacks in the ditch, they're a bit
shy.
Bit shy, yeah. Another short one.
That wind also is not quite straight down the rink anymore. So those flags.
It's not real constant either, so
as we're looking at this, the wind is from left to right a little. Be coming from the top left corner of the green to the back right, just about.
Yep.
So on that backhand side, the wind would actually be holding that bowl out a little bit.
Coming across sort of east-southeast it is, so.
He's got his grass perfect. Shout out from Mackenzie Park Bowling Club on the Gold Coast, watching on their fellow Queenslanders, the Darra boys. Been asked what the green speed is. I think we'd be nudging 15 and a half now, wouldn't we?
Probably around 15, I'd say. But with those two jacks in the ditch, I'll say 15 and a half.
I think we were probably about the 13 and a half, 14 mark at the start of the day. Still pretty good, considering that a little bit of rain overnight and the amount of rain through the week. Well, Tony's just forgotten that the camera's still there when you're standing on the bank. Most people are pretty good when they're standing on the green, but they get up on the bank and they forget all about it. Because the visual clue of the centre line's not up on the bank. Well, Jayson, he's got that nice tight line with that wind coming that way. Can he grab hold of the white?
Oh.
No. I wasn't going to mention that we've had Jayson on a live stream from Bowls, New South Wales before. Him and Dicko played in the over 40s pairs finals down at Grandviews. They lost that game too. They weren't quite on fire as they were in the earlier games, and their opponents played very, very well.
Bobby Fraser's old club, Grandviews, the Greenkeeper. He's Greenkeeper there for years and years. Old Bob.
Only just retired. Did a very good job. Their greens, probably the only criticism we've had of Grandview's greens is they're a little too quick sometimes.
Well, Phil Hartfield just retired.
Phil,
yeah. Bobby Fraser before Phil.
Phil was certainly there for a while too.
Yeah, he was probably there for over I'll be pushing 15 years, I think. Phil was there, I'm pretty sure. 15, 16, 17 years. It'd be over 16 years because I saw him down there before I came up.
Just going to hang on Tony there. Probably just thought that wind would push him in a bit more than it did. It's just not quite as intense at the moment.
It's just dropped off a bit.
Can he sneak past? Or is he just...
Down one?
Well, I think Jayson just put his finger up. I think that one might have just snuck into shot. Danny did say to Tony, land him for two. Well, I think it was Danny. There's another 12 or 13 rinks not too far away from them that you hear all the feedback from as well. Did hear have some thoughts that maybe we here at Yamba that you could extend the current green wear on towards green one and then build the other one across and make two full-size greens out of them?
Yeah, the middle bank was where the old club used to be, and the plan was always to move the number 2 green, slide that across and increase the small green and make that a full one to Jace. And turn that small green into a full-size green and have 4 full-size greens.
That'd be a fairly big project to do that, though, wouldn't it?
Sure would be.
Because you'd have to match the 2 green levels. It'd be pretty close, but...
Have to, move all the electricity and stuff from the poles again, and irrigation and new bowls rests and ditches and everything, but
maybe a project for the future. It's not just a case of knocking down the 2 ditches and then joining the grass up.
Nah.
There's a bit more to it than that.
Yeah.
Because of what's underneath, what's in between the greens.
Yeah, after trenching for the conduit or for the electricity for the new poles, is just rocks and debris and everything under there. So you got to get all your drainage and all that in there too, when you slide the green across. So there's plenty of things to think about.
Because a bowling green's a bit like a big sponge cake, isn't it? Different layers of things underneath it.
Yeah, going to take about 100 mil off the number 3 green around December this year, because it's a bit high at the moment. So that's going to be a big job, taking the top 100 mil off. I just got a soil moisture curve test done down in Victoria to say it was okay. I could take 10 centimetres off, so I got to regrass it, of course, and prepare the sub base growing medium. So that'll take a couple of weeks.
Because you've got a top layer of growing soil, haven't you?
Yeah,
and then underneath that you've got more of a porous area to let the drainage go through.
Got your gravel, about your 5 mil P gravel, and your drainage in that. So,
and you certainly know it if you don't construct them correctly, because the water stays to the surface.
Yeah, yep.
And I've heard a few clubs that had a little bit too well drained, and their fertiliser costs spiraled because it just went straight through.
Construction is the most important thing. You can't have any short corners when you're constructing a green. It might cost a little bit, but you'll get the money back if you construct it properly. So that's where a lot of clubs make mistakes, cutting costs and stuff when they're constructing the greens. So
you do it properly the first time, then you've got the ideal growing conditions, so your grass grows better, stays firmer, you get more play out of it, and your costs go down because you've got it in play more often. You don't have to do the excessive maintenance.
Yep, that's right. Even with day-to-day maintenance with fungal diseases and things like that. Got the magpie running across. Our resident magpie. She's just had 2 babies at the back of the club in the Norfolk Pine. So I've got 2 new babies running around the club as well. About a month ago.
Friendly enough, doesn't seem to swoop.
Nah, they're 2 friendly magpies. Just before I got here, probably about 20 years ago, they had to shoot one of the magpies because it was attacked someone and actually cut them, and was attacking anyone that was walking past the club. So don't really hear about that these days, do you? But these 2 are friendly.
Jayson, he's just trying to get...
Not enough grass.
Oh, I heard him say that. Just trying to get around his own down to the jack. Been pointed out to me, Corowa down near the border has a 12 rank green. That would be a nightmare to try and manage your wear on, wouldn't it? You can only play one direction.
Yeah, well, I move my rinks after every game. You can see I've just got the one chalk line. I put that out the other week in case it did rain for this. Because I usually get a lot of the visitors, if they come, they just go to the mat and jack box and go to the nearest line that they can see. They don't read the board. So rink 8, where they're playing on now, usually gets the most wear. So I still stick to the old style chalk when I mark out.
See, a lot of clubs have got a line every foot or so along the green. Where they've just got to pick which line it is and move the markers along each session.
I've got a few members that have asked if I could put the painted lines down because it's easier for them to play. But unfortunately, I like my chalk too much. Not a fan of the checkerboard look.
There is an argument that any line other than the centre line is not legal as well. However, if I'm in a club that's got more than one centre line marked and someone says it's not legal, I go, okay, you're quite welcome to go out and lick it off.
It's not a 5-minute job, that's for sure.
No.
Well, when they played the Bowls at Birmingham, they didn't have any line at all.
No.
So.
And some of the overseas countries, to mark the 2 metre mark, they actually hammer in a little piece of plastic into the green.
Oh, right.
I'm sure the Australian greenkeepers would love someone going out and banging a piece of plastic into the green.
Definitely. Every game.
And then removing it after the end of the day's play. Oh, that's a good bowl. They're holding a little multiple there now. Maybe 4.
We actually have croquet on Wednesday mornings at a croquet club come and play on our greens, and we put the hoops in ourselves, save them doing it, and because we don't want them putting the hoops in and pitchfork on the green, so we do it ourselves, and everyone's happy.
They play croquet on the back green at Roman Terrace now as well. Because it's not going to be putting hoops in the synthetic greens.
No.
Back green wasn't being used much, so the croquet club came to an agreement with the bowling club to use it.
They have a little croquet club across the river at Iluka Bowling Club too, on their little old half green. So croquet's definitely getting more popular. The man who started it here, Johnny Church, he's an ex-bowler and had a bad back and couldn't bend down anymore. It was just before the arm come out. And another one in the ditch. Green must be
really picking up speed.
Yeah.
We'll see if Jayson can keep it on this time. He's going to move it back to the tee, give himself more chance. Do we applaud him if he keeps it on?
He better keep it on.
Yeah, he's kept it on. We'll give him a little clap. Doesn't even know we're clapping him. So we don't get much longer lengths than this one. Tee to tee. What distance would we be on this green from tee to tee?
They're 36 metre greens, so...
Be 32 metres.
Yep.
The average green in Australia, or at least in New South Wales, is that 36 to 37 metres mark. The old 120 foot mark, I think is what they said it was.
This is, I think it's 36.4, and the number 3 green, the one that was built in 98, that's 37, so it's a little bit bigger.
Because the bowling green, 31 to 40 metres, I think, are the dimensions. Maybe 32, 31, I think it is, minimum. And the 31 metre green is tiny. International, they prefer the 40 metre length. There are not many 40 metre greens around.
I think there's only 4 clubs in New South Wales with 4 greens too now.
Warilla, 3 grass and 1 synthetic indoor. Soon to be 2 grass, 1 covered synthetic and an indoor. Edelong.
Yeah. Fig Tree.
Have 3.5 greens. I might be able to get 24 rinks in there, but it'd be a bit tight even with 3 rinks on the small green.
Marimbula used to have 4 greens.
They've got the 2 covered synthetics now. I'm struggling to think of the 4th club. The entrance used to, but I think they've gone down. They'll have 2 covered synthetics now. Windang built over the top, over their 4th green at the front. Harboard. They've got 4 greens.
Okay.
I'm not sure that they have 4 in use. Nelson Bay has a 4th green, but I think it's out of play. I don't think they've maintained it as much. The one up the top behind the club.
Yep.
Nico Williams is saying Tweed Heads has 4 greens. Well, technically, I suppose they're in New South Wales geographically, but they're affiliated with Queensland. Club Tweed.
It's another easy club to get to now with the new road.
Yeah, well, I went from Casino up to there to drop off 9 boxes of gear for the state sides. I was conveniently in Casino anyway, so took that gear up. And it was a very short run once I got onto the highway.
They got an undercover there too, a Casino, RSM.
Very good setup. So, not a big green. I think it's only 6 rinks. But covered in solar panels.
Yep. It's like a felt green, I think.
Carpet.
Out at Casino, yep. Played there a couple of years back in a Greenkeeper's Day, local Greenkeeper's Day.
I've not had a game there.
I got stuck on the back green there at Casino. On the grass green. Didn't have a game on the synthetic there. Nice club though.
Well, they had the grass up and running then, did they?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where they were still using it.
Oh, it's probably one of the last years they used it, I'd say. Had a lot of ground pearl problem. Ground pearls everywhere but these days.
Well, they're holding shot again. 4 ends to go. They're 9 shots in front, so you'd have to say they're quietly in control of this clash.
Got one hand on the check.
They guarantee themselves at least second with a win. And that they need to win by, well, they need to win to guarantee second.
Yep.
If they win by more than 7, they're also saying to Peter Taylor and Carl Healy, you've got to win by a few to stay in front of us. They're only holding one at the moment, the Darra pair. Steve Greig, green bowl on the centre line to be second.
Sun's just about out now, fully, so that's nice. Finish off the day.
I'm just grateful we haven't had any rain to get my gear wet. The stuff outside, I don't want to pack it up and have it in sitting inside a van for 2 weeks wet. Takes a bit to dry off some of this gear.
I was a bit worried midweek with the forecast about the weekend, but we got through it, so I think any greenkeeper's happy if they hold a tournament and it's not raining.
Yes. Well, one of the comments on Facebook tells us that Pete and Carlos are leading 19-9 at the moment, so add 10, there'd be 17 shots to catch up to them. That might just be a little bit of a tall order. They're 9 in front now. So they'd need to add another 8 to that in 4 ends and score a few more to go ahead of them. Edelong, definitely 4 greens to the comment on Facebook. One of them's a little bit smaller than the other, the third one. West Dubbo has 3 big greens. You can actually get 8 rinks on each one, so you can get 24 rinks at West Dubbo. Maybe a little bit tight on the edges when you do get 8 rinks on. Well, Tony's just got a little action there. He wasn't just chucking it away. He was trying to get cover. Steve, judging by Jayson's reaction, he's gone a bit wide for that weight. Another one. 3 ends to go, and the lead's now 10. So it looks like the Triple M's curse on the live stream is going to continue. Oh, no, update on that one. It's now 21-7. Apparently, Tails and Carl leading. So it's plus 14. That'll be a 21 buffer. Minus 10, so they'd need another 11 shots in 3 ends. I don't think Jayson's going to give that up very willingly. Danny has played very well at lead. I'll give Jayson, Steve, credit. They've probably played well enough to win against some of the other teams we've seen in action over the weekend. Just not this game. Their opponents have played pretty well.
It's been a lot of good heads across the 2 days. Nice and tight.
Got a couple of captivating games too, where it's come down to the last couple of games. So a couple of ends, I should say. Entertaining. I haven't heard anyone complaining. That's a marvellous achievement.
Yeah, they all come off yesterday reasonably happy, so that was.
I've got a few people saying, "Oh, well, we got a win." They're just happy to have a win. And all 52 teams are out playing round 6, regardless of whether they're in the mix or not, because they want to come back next year. I do find it disappointing when someone signs up to play a tournament and they get to the last round and they go, "Oh, We can't win, so we'll just go home. We don't want to play the last round.
Yeah, that's disappointing, especially when people like volunteers and, you know, trying their best to put on a good day for everyone. And that happens. It's not nice.
But, there's also a 6th round winners prize available, so you may as well go out and have that game and try and get a win anyway. Well, I'm not sure Tony was trying to trail that jack, but he's got a decent result out of it. Steve, well, he's got the jack as well. He's kicked it out to the side. So we might have to just swing our camera out a bit. Fair bit of room there now. The bowl out jack high on the left is actually on the next rink. Well, that's the shot.
Might be just out.
Yeah.
Yep, it's out.
It's not the shot then. You just highlighted one of the little upgrades we want to do to our systems, put a cough button in. So you'd have an extra button on your cord, you'd be able to press it and silence your mic for just a moment. Mute yourself. We do thank Head Greenkeeper for joining us, and a bit of variety, a bit of knowledge, depth about the greens and here at Yamba. Do hope you've enjoyed the presentation of the Yamba Classic Pairs through the Bowls New South Wales Facebook and YouTube channels. Just a reminder, we will be live again. We've got a little gap in our break, in our schedule now to 2 weeks or just under. We'll be back at Yamba for that 2 weeks' time, a weekend in end of October. It'll be the State Over 40s Pairs final. We have 3 sectional games on Saturday, then quarter-final, semi-final, final on Sunday. All the details there can be found through the Bowls New South Wales website under Events, Annual Competitions Over 40s, and the draw and details also on our BowlsLink results portal. That one's probably the shot. Still plenty of room. We also will be streaming towards the end of November, 21 to 24, 23. 4 days, end of November, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday will be the Rookies Pairs State Finals. That draw will be up very soon after the qualification was played yesterday. Saturday, Sunday, Rookies Singles State Finals. Why do we play the pairs Thursday, Friday? We've been asked. It's singles on the weekend because it's a lot easier to get the volunteers to mark on a weekend than it is on Thursday, Friday. So it's a logistic thing. Because we do need 8 markers times 6 rounds on the Saturday. I don't think we're going to get 8 people to mark 6 rounds in a row, but they will mark 2 or 3. I think it was about 30 markers contributed over the day at Raymond Terrace last time. Two more ends after this one. I think it's getting towards a bit of a foregone conclusion. They will play it out just for the margins, just in case Pete and Carl don't go on and record a big win. Danny and Tony, they've had 5 wins so far. They had a win over Alan Smith, Reed Burgess, 12-10, narrow win in the first round. Bill Andrews and Gary Douglas, 15-9 in round 2. Kevin Judge, Ian Shaw, 26-5, big win in round 3. In round 4, had a 21-10 over Greg Symes and Ron Smith. Round 5, they beat Don Lowe and Peter Grogan, 25-13. And I'll call them now. They're going to have a win in round 6. 10 shots in front. 2 to play after this. Tony's just drawn shot.
Good bowl.
Greig would have had, it had to make a multiple this end to give him a real chance to get a victory. He can get a 2 with a trail, but, or air jack, difficult. He's going to draw a shot anyway, so
Nice shot.
maybe I shouldn't declare him winners yet. 9 shots in 2 ends, so they need a 5 and a 4. They need more than half their bowls to count for a draw. And, well, a draw may not be good enough to secure second position, because Indy Conlon and his partner had 4 wins and a draw. They could end up on 5 and a draw. He's brought the mutt up a bit. Not going to go quite as long this time. Maybe they're trying to play tactics, long into the wind and short with it. Poor old Jayson, though. You're in the point 2 where it's sometimes a little difficult to maintain that concentration. You know that you're in trouble. You just have to complete the ends for the tournament. So the natural reaction is that your concentration levels just falter a little bit. It's not a deliberate thing, but it can be difficult to maintain that keenness when there's a foregone conclusion looming. Jason's bowl fell over when that one was halfway down the green. I think it would have got around it without that. So he's been pushed up to be the shot.
He's got his hat off. I don't think he can believe it either. Not long to go.
Well, it'll be 2. I don't think they're good enough to count when we get to the count them up at the end of this, at the completion of this end. That's why I don't think that, because Tony's just drawn the shot.
Great shot.
That's been the difference. Tony and Tony have just managed to play that great bowl more often. Jayson and Steve have been there or thereabouts, but their opponents have just been a little better. Well, it's something I haven't had to worry about for a couple of days. There's the sun shining on a headlight, on a windscreen behind the green, right into my eyes. Didn't have to worry about that yesterday. We were going the opposite direction. And by the time we got to this time yesterday afternoon, that was the cloud cover.
Weather can change really quick up here. From the start of the game to the end of the game. Can have 4 seasons in one game very easily.
I do remember the storms rolling in from the east when I was playing cricket. Bangalow and Ballina and Brunswick Heads, that sort of area. Went to school in Mullumbimby. The weather could change there fairly quickly too.
They say if the first storm of the season comes across and comes out to the coast, usually the rest follow here, so we were lucky yesterday that it missed us.
Yeah, I was watching that cell pass part through and around Grafton and thinking there was a little bit of a bother there. That was looked rather intense. Just pushed up the river, they said. Oh, good bowl from Jace.
I had the phone ping yesterday with the insurance company saying get your car out of the undercover hail warning. So I don't know if there was any hail anywhere yesterday, but it missed us completely, so that was good.
Well, the coolest man in bowls is walking past. Gives me a bit of a giggle. I like giving Carl a stir because he loves it. Known Carl for quite a long time. From when he was a wee young'un playing in the juniors. Guess that makes me old.
I actually played Kyle Hansen. I used to play Oztag with his old man, Warren, before I moved up here, and then got word of Kyle getting better and better as he was bowling as a junior, and now he's in the stateside, is that right? Kyle Hansen?
He's in the national development squad. Hasn't quite cracked our stateside. So there's an emerging Jackaroos pathway type program.
Yep.
Where they've identified those who will be potentially the future stars. And they get some coaching from some specialised staff. The idea of the next wave of superstars. Someone like a Corey Wedlock benefited from that sort of program. It's a very tough job to crack into the New South Wales side at the moment. You had a little influx of players during this season. When you're adding Cody Packer, Nick Cahill, both Jackaroos squad members into your stateside, makes it rather difficult to crack into. Don't know whether that was 1 or 2. I'll give him 2, just to be nice.
Nothing wrong with a bit of competition.
He also had J-Boy Norris selected in the first couple of test series this year, former Victorian representative. And then state selectors had to pick the side for the Nationals. And Mozzie Lewis was available again. He'd missed the first couple of series. He'd done something silly like get married. So he was unavailable. Put back in. That caused quite a bit of debate around the traps of whether or not he should have been put in. That was a decision for the selectors, so I'm not going to weigh in on that. But I do know Mozzie has been the best lead in the state side for quite a few years. Saw him play Test Series against Queensland at Raymond Terrace a few years ago. We live streamed that. And we streamed the test where he led. And I've never seen a better display of leading. He just kept plonking him on the jack. He won the state championship champion singles. So was put back into the side because they thought that was the strongest side, obviously. It's a bit like pennant selectors at a club. They're never going to make everybody happy.
You can never win either way. Always going to upset someone, but that's the job of a selector, isn't it? Can't keep everyone happy.
Somebody said to me, how come you're playing in the grade 4 pennants? Well, that's where they picked me. Oh, yeah, well, that's where they picked me. I don't care.
Doesn't matter what number, it's the club. You're still playing for your club. That's how I see it.
Well, my mate was the chairman of selectors, and he said, you play where you picked or you don't play. I wasn't going to argue. I was quite happy having a game with a few mates. I did really enjoy my season with some really nice fellas. All 12 in the side. Well, the 11 others, or the 10 others plus the Albatross and me. Just in case he's watching, because he might think I actually like him if I... probably don't know. The Albatross is a guy... I played 22 years of club pairs with the same guy.
Oh, okay.
So we have a friendly banter.
Yep.
Earlier on, I made something about having a game with my mates, and he come on and said, I think you misunderstood that. Like me, you don't have any mates. So he was a selector, got accused of picking his mates only, and I said, well, I know it's not true. And he went, yeah, because I don't have any mates, do I? So a little bit of friendly banter there. That's the great thing about a bowling club. You get to play with some characters, a few different sort of personalities, but in the end it's all about getting out and having a game for your club and enjoying yourself.
And making sure your team gels. If your team gels, it's half the battle. And you enjoy your afternoon if you've got a good team to play with.
Been blessed like that over a few seasons and played with some nice blokes, and even the whole 12 together. A few of them I mightn't choose to go out on a Saturday night anywhere else, but I'm happy to spend the Saturday afternoon on the bowling green with them.
The difference up here is driving home after a loss, and
yes.
The four of you in the car, and you've usually got about an hour of discussion of where it all went wrong.
Well, Jayson got a chance to impress with his last bowl, his third one short. Fortunately, we won 11 out of the 13 on my rink. So it was a happy rink on the way home most of the time.
The trip home's usually faster too if you win, isn't it?
And our side went pretty well too. We got beaten in the grand final. But a couple of times on the way home we were saying, well, I don't think we played all that well today. The boys were saying, oh, well, ugly win, good win.
They don't see how you played in the paper. All they see is the result. A win's a win. Jason's last bowl.
Can he finish on a high? Well, he gave it a good shake. Had the chance there to run in off it. He's just got it fat. Still might be
close.
Shot though.
Not sure.
Oh, might have got shot with his last one. Starting to get a bit noisy around here with all the bowlers finishing up and making their way in. 5 bowls left to play in this game. I think Peter was trying to get our attention there, but we both ignored him.
Yep. The game's better.
Well, it is, from reports, Carl and Peter had a good win in their last round. With a 7-shot win here, that's not going to be enough to breach that gap. So it looks like the winners of the tournament will be Peter Taylor, Carl Healy. Second place, well, we're looking at them on the stream. And it's not Jayson and Steve. It's Danny Knight and Tony White from Darra Cement Co. Indy Conlon and his partner, I forget who that was, Glenn Wilson. They'd had 4 wins and a draw. They were clear third. If they've had a win, they will finish third. And then it's a race between about 8 teams that had 4 wins. To see who can round out the top 8. Did he manage to sit that and stay for shot? Greggy, he's going to crash on the short one.
I think Jason's still got shot, hasn't he?
Very close. It's worth a couple. May as well play it. There's
nothing to lose.
Not going to be any real consequence, I think. He's played it like there's not a lot of consequence. Very hard though. He had to get enough weight to get round and sit the bowl. So pretty sure that's going to be a 9-15 victory or loss. So 15-9, a +6. They'll finish in second as Danny Knight, Tony White. Thanks to our head greenkeeper here, Graham. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew.
Graham Brown, isn't it?
Yep.
I've got it right. I've got a terrible memory names sometimes. That's why I've got everything written down in front of me normally. But thanks for joining us and giving us your insights.
Pleasure.
It's been a wonderful 6 games here at Yamba. Thanks to Bowlo Sports and Leisure, the classic pairs, done and dusted. We look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks' time on the Bowls New South Wales Facebook and YouTube channels for the State Over 40s pairs. But until then, it's goodbye for now and have a great 2 weeks in the meantime.